And ever since then, the BS, the bullshit has been piling up, because how can you have so much fake money going all over the world? So when people say, why do you buy gold? This is very simply because I don't trust my government. If you trust your government, take the dollar. So anyway, that's it. So we have our very special guest. His name is David Garofalo, and he's living in Vancouver. And we're just laughing about that because I love Vancouver. Every con man, crook, and everything lives there. They're pitching deals. And every time I was in Vancouver, I would sit there. It was like, what's the definition of a liar? It's a gold miner standing next to a hole in the ground. And there were so many holes in the ground and so many liars out there. But I just loved it. I loved it. And I swear some of these guys would sell their mothers if they could make a buck at it. But that's how we grow up. Do you know what I mean? You don't grow up buying mutual funds. You really don't. And so to be an entrepreneur, you got to go to either Vancouver or Toronto for resources, which is gold, silver, oil, and things like that. So that's where I kind of grew up. And so we have David today, and he is in Gold Royalty Corporation and chairman and CEO of Marshall Precious Metals Fund. And he's the chair of the board of Great Panther Mining Unlimited. And he come from a friend of mine recommended by Marin Katusa. And he and I always laugh about it. He and I we all grew up in Vancouver. And I do mean grow up. You guys with your 401ks, grow up. Just grow up. You guys, I don't know, you're missing out on all the fun. So anyway, David, welcome to the program. We're going to be talking about gold and what's happening.
Nice to see you, Robert. Thanks for having me on.
Thank you. You made I was watching with Danielle, one of my favorite people on Stansberry. You were talking about a 40% decline in reserves in the gold industry. What does that mean? Right. So the thing I was laughing about with David and all this, they have these junior miners and exploratory companies, and then you have the majors. And the majors are like Barrick and those characters. But they need the juniors to go out there and dig around in the dirt. So that's exactly. What I was doing. I was digging around in the dirt, and I was all over the world looking for that stuff. I was in Arequipa in Peru or something like that. And it's really an education. So all you guys with your 401ks, grow up. You haven't seen nothing yet. So anyway, what's happening to the juniors then if the majors can't get more reserves? So the juniors are the reason I traveled the world was I was looking for gold. And we finally found a gold mine in China, and it became a major. And then the Chinese said, thank you.
Yeah.
You don't teach that in business school. What did they say when they say thank you? We just took your gold mine.
Yeah.
And I'm going, what? And so today, China's one of the biggest net gold producers. And it's the gold mine we found in China. So anyway, I really enjoy this whole world, but I'd rather stick with real estate. Anyway, so what's happening if there's a 40% decline in reserves? How does that affect the price? Mm. And what does that mean for the average guy with their 401k or IRA, with their gold IRA stuff? So the whole point here is this: every time I'm on Daniela, because I'm not an expert at gold or silver or Bitcoin, I simply don't trust my government. That's what it comes down to. And, you talk about a liar saying a hole in the ground. The liars are at the Fed, the Federal Reserve Bank. These guys, there's 780 PhDs over there, and they should turn in their PhDs. They're a bunch of criminals, how much they're printing. So when I get into these pissing matches, well, is it gold, is it silver, is it Bitcoin? I said, I don't know. It's just, how much do you have? I don't really care if it's gold, silver, or Bitcoin right now. How much do you have? And when I speak to guys like Peter Schiff, he's a good friend of mine, I said, Peter, I was buying Bitcoin at 7,000 and 9,000 a coin. So I'm not complaining right now. Well, and he gets all wrapped up about it. I'm going, the point here is this, ladies and gentlemen, the problem is money. Am I correct there, David? So let me just say this much. My company knows this. For about the last 10 years, we don't keep money in the banks anymore. We have up to the FDIC limit of $250,000. But since we're a debt company, we borrow money for money. And it's completely opposite of what other guys say. You should live debt-free. But we live close at hand, billions in debt, because debt is tax-free. And it's opposite. So that's why I don't give financial advice, because everybody would shoot me for what I'm saying. But anyway, the thing that we've done in our company and personally and all this, we keep in our cash outside the banks. And the reason for that is there's no cash in the banks. If you understand that, and as if I'm not trying to spread rumors and all this, but David Morgan of the silver genius, he's saying the same thing now. Everybody's starting to say the same thing. Get your money out of the banks. If you're going to hold cash, keep it outside the bank. If you're going to have gold and silver, keep it outside the bank. You're going to have Bitcoin, keep it outside the bank. So I don't know if you can explain that. I have a hard time explaining to people is the banks don't have any cash. And if they have a bail-in, which they did in Greece or whatever it is, Iceland, there's no money there. Get back and listen for a while, you guys out there who believe in saving money and you trust the government and all this. I've been buying gold since it was $50 for a Krugerrand. I still have that Krugerrand today, but it's not in America. It's someplace outside this country. That's how much I don't trust my government. And if you guys have cash in the bank, you may, I don't know if you know what a run on the bank means, but that means people start lining up for cash, and there's no cash in the bank either. And so one of the biggest advantages I personally see is that if you have cash and gold and silver and even Bitcoin, I don't know how to trade Bitcoin. I just bought a lot of it when it was 9,000 and 9,000. I mean, I don't know what people are jerking around about. And so if you have cash and the banks are out of cash, you're going to have so many bargains that you think you died and went to heaven. But that is how pessimistic I have been ever since 1972 when I was flying behind enemy lines in Vietnam to buy gold when I didn't even know what gold was, because most people don't know this. I had to smuggle that damn Krugerrand into America because it was illegal for Americans to own gold. So I come from a very deep cynicism against the banking and the Treasury and the Fed. And I think most gold guys are in the same. And what David is saying here, one of the best things about hanging out in Vancouver was I got to travel the world to look for gold. And it cost me a fortune because I didn't have a paycheck and all this stuff. And I'm up in the Andes of Peru, and I'm standing there looking at little holes going along a mountainside. And I stand there next to this guy, I call him the little Inca. I said, "What is that?" He says, "That was the Inca looking for gold." Do you know what I mean? This is before there was YouTube and
Yes.
Cell phones and all that. They intuitively knew to look for gold, and they would track the veins. So then I go to Mongolia. It was a place called I forgot the name of it now, the checkerboard. There were holes all over the place where these Asian guys were digging for gold. Now, the Inca and the Asians, they didn't communicate. They were just looking for the same stuff. And that's when I talk to people about an education that your 401k, your IRA will never give you, you should hang out in Vancouver.